Hey guys, B Twice here. Happy Memorial Day. Today's Monday, May 31st. We're going to be looking at QQQ, where we've been coming from and where I think we are probably going to be going in the upcoming weeks. So I wanted to go back and look at the daily chart just so we can get reference of where this trend line had come from. So we can see the trend line has been touched multiple times going back to September, the September low. Um, and it hasn't really crossed it since then. So let's go ahead and dive into where we're at now. All right. So looking at the hourly, um, I think we hit a peak of a wave five back here. And basically, what I think we're doing is we're seeing a WX. We're going up for an X, and we're ultimately going to be coming down for a Y. Before I get into too much more detail of how I'm seeing this, um, let's go into something real quick to take a look at wave theory. All right, so basically, as a reference, I try to use Elliot Wave Forecast. They have a lot of good detail on their website, good literature to read. So if you're interested in learning more from what I'm showing, go ahead to that website and check it out. But basically, what I'm seeing is when you have a WXY correction, you can have either a flat zigzag or a triangle, then any three combination followed by a zigzag flat triangle over here. So pretty much it's any combination. It's considered a complex correction because you have two different corrections separated by any three. When you have this happen and you're looking for wave Y, your wave Y is 61.8%, 100%, or 123.6% of wave W. And I'm going to show you how you do that in Thinkorswim here in a second. But basically, the the actual delta of this drop from top to the bottom of W up, you would extend that drop onto X, and that will give you your price target for Y. So let's go over this. All right, so basically I'm seeing this as what our wave, it was a wave five top. We had a five wave move down to A, then we have A, B, C to get us to B, and then we have another five wave move down right here, another impulse. So this is a zigzag. So getting us to what I call W was a zigzag correction. Now, that could have ultimately just been a simple correction. That could have been the entire correction, and we could have been heading to all-time highs. The reason I don't see that is because of what we're seeing here. I consider this to be an A, a B going up for C. The reason I see that is this whole structure to me doesn't really look like an impulse up to take us to a bigger one. Um, and because of that, I labeled this A. So I see it as an a B, and now I'm seeing a five wave move to get us to C. So I'm seeing one, two, three. We're going to pull back for four. We might have already completed that pullback here, but there is a chance we'll go a little bit lower starting off the week before ultimately riding up. I don't think we're going to break all-time highs. If we do break all-time highs, my count is invalid. So be aware of that. If we go over all-time highs on the NASDAQ or QQQ, then what I'm seeing here is invalid and I will have to recount. But I think ultimately as SPY gets to all-time highs, the NASDAQ, which has been a little bit weak, is going to fall short of that. So when SPY goes into its next correction, the NASDAQ is going to continue its weakness, and this is ultimately where we're going to see it drop. So I think we're going to pop up to somewhere in the 340 range, but we won't break all-time highs. And then we're going to be coming down for a Y. Now, when you're coming down for Y, it could be a zigzag correction. It could be a flat. It could be a triangle. Ultimately, I think likely it will be another impulse down. And what we'll see is we're going to be heading to that trend line that I just showed you that went back to like last September. So with what I just showed you on that Word document, that picture is when you're going for a wave Y, this wave Y, it's either usually 100%, 123%, or 61.8. The 61.8 could take us touching that trend line. So there's a good chance, which I'm showing in green right here, that we could have a zigzag down or we could have a running flat, something like that, where we come touch this trend line and we bounce back to the upside. And I do ultimately think that we're going to have a tech rotation or our rotation back into tech soon. And it'll be after this correction. The in wave theory, the highest probability trade of a wave Y is when it goes to the 100. So if it was to break this trend line, the next spot you'd want to go long would be the 311 range. So just keep this in mind when trading. I drew a circle right here just to kind of show you what could potentially happen. We could come down here and bounce here, and then the correction could be done here. We could go up for a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then go to all-time highs, or we could go lower to the 311. Now, mind you, it is possible to go to the 123.6, which if we did go all the way down there would be the 305 range. So keep that in mind that 4 could go down here. I don't think it will go that low. I think it either bounces at the trend line and goes up, or it'll come to the 100%, which will be the 311. So to see how to do this, if you're in Thinkorswim and you thought you were in a WXY correction, if you wanted to actually do the extension, you go to your gadgets, click the extension, you go from the top, the wave 5 extreme, to the bottom of your W, and then you just extend it on to up here. And that's basically how I did it. So I don't need to have that on here. I'm going to remove it. But either way, so that's how you do it. This is where I think that QQQ could potentially be going. So I think we'll fall short of all-time highs, but just be mindful that if it does break all-time highs, my count is invalid. And we'll see what happens in these upcoming weeks. All right, guys, have a good day.